nationwide have been following our efforts.
1480 WHBC.
Live from the WHBC Broadcast Center. Find out more about area businesses, agencies, and events.
It's what's going on right now.
This is Spotlight.
And good Wednesday morning, everyone. It is Spotlight on 1480 WHBC, live on the radio and also live on Facebook right now. So if you want to join us on Facebook, just go to our Facebook page and like it, and you can watch along or check back anytime and watch the video of today's program. So we're excited. We always like to spotlight, obviously, businesses in our area. But when you get to spotlight one that is a trusted business, a great local business that has a really cool story behind it, that always makes it a lot more fun as well. And today it's Fireside Tax, and we have owner Tim Singo with us this morning. How are you, sir?
Doing real well. We're not snowed in this morning, and that's good. And it's a good feeling. We're at a good place at Fireside. We are hitting a lot of milestones and growing. It's kind of weird to look around and watch it happen. And I think back to, I started a booth in the mall, and it was just me and the mall walkers mostly. And, as a matter of fact, I had one of them in yesterday, and we were reminiscing about that. Amazingly, pretty much all of them that are still living are still coming to me. So, yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
So let's talk about your history and how you got started with all of this.
Well, I will. I'll give you the backstory. Every
Yes.
superhero has a backstory.
That's right.
Fortunately, I'm humble though. But yes. So I started out. I grew up in the projects, Jackson Sherrick. Back in the day, it was down the hill from Skyland Pine or
Skyland Terrace.
Not Skyland. Highland Park is what they called it at the time. And so anyway, I pretty much did about everything you weren't supposed to do. And we'll leave it at that. But I got saved as a senior in high school and went on to Malone College. Now they call it a university, but it was a college back in the day. And it helped me get my head right. Got a degree in social work. Found out they don't pay social workers. Joined the Army. And then landed at the Capital Law School's paralegal program. And I was working at Black McCuskey as a probate paralegal for a while. So pretty much 80% of that is tax and accounting. So fast forward a couple of years, I was between jobs, and I tried to start an independent paralegal business, which is kind of hard because you have to have lawyers whose stock and trade is protecting client information trust me, not their employee.
Right.
So I got a lot of business, but not quite enough. So then I started preparing taxes for another local firm and figuring, okay, I need to get some money here. Much to my surprise, I found out I loved it.
Wow.
I was as surprised as anybody, and I really connected with clients. It's really cool that you get to connect it with people from all walks of life. Pretty much anything you can think of, I have a client that does that, outside of going to Mars. But basically, that kind of developed out of that. Now, I started out in my basement, and if you see the fireplace on the logo, the signs, the advertising, that actually is my fireplace in the basement. It's actually a pretty big fireplace, and it's why I named it Fireside.
Okay.
So when I went out to the mall, I actually built a mock-up fireplace with some 2x4s. It's basically a box with paneling on it, and but the joke is that have fireplace will travel, because over the years as we've moved, that's come with me, and it's still in my lobby today.
It's a great replica. It is.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. We've had to swap out the insert over time, but it's been 20 years. 20 years, and it's kind of hard to believe I'm still doing this. And I have a saying: I'm succeeding in business, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm brilliant or too dumb to quit. The polite way to say that is persistent.
That's right. Very good. Very good. And I have a lot of respect for people who do taxes because to me I'm a good at math. I don't have a problem with math, but it's all of the ins and the outs, and that stuff has changed a lot for you over 20 years, hasn't it? I mean, as far as like that using computers now and different things.
We always used computers at the time I stepped in, although not far removed from the people that did it by hand. And
I liked a pencil. I like sitting with a pencil. New pencils are cool, but
yeah,
it's harder that way.
yes. Using the software, I mean, you have to learn your way around that. Fortunately, we've used Drake software from the start, and so we're very familiar with it. It's a very good program. But one of my pet peeves is, when I'm training somebody is you can't rely on the program. You're the professional. You have to know when the program is doing something that is not doing something it should. So I'm kind of a stickler on that. I try to do one return a year by hand just for that reason, so I don't lose touch with what the computer's doing behind the scenes. So a lot of with doing, the business, growing out of that, we have grown to a point where we're doing about 1,700 returns a year. Just this year, we've grown to 9 preparers. We have 12 people employed. And so it's not just me anymore. I find myself looking around at times going, wow.
I could imagine. I mean, that's a heck of a growth story. It
yes.
really is.
And the part of the cool thing is that part of what we do is help other businesses grow. And I've watched them sail, and I've watched them crash. And I've learned a lot of lessons and in my own business. And one of the things I always do tell people is you have to be able to learn. Get it out of your head you're not going to make any mistakes, because that's just a fool's dream.
Yeah.
It's whether you learn from those mistakes and how you react when you do it,
And you were talking about starting in your basement, and then you progressed to where after that?
Well, I rented a booth in the mall, and I was able to work out a deal where I just paid them 10% of my revenue. So it wasn't much to rent. Of course, if you're familiar with the Kansas Center Mall at the time, it wasn't like they were stacked full. But it was more traffic than my basement. And I bounced around a couple of booths. The starter was a booth outside of JCPenney. I did end up taking over a former vision care place that was broken up into offices. And then I was actually the second to the last business in that mall.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now it's
they've torn it down pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you're done with the mall, you're thinking, I need to go find a place. Is that?
Yeah. So I looked up and down, and I decided that I live over by Central Catholic on the north side of the street. And I thought, well, I'm not a fan of commuting, so I found a place that was a gray house, and the rent was cheap enough, and so it worked. We made it work for about 5 years, and that brought a big growth in business, because we're more out on the street, that type of things, and that's when we really first started getting employees on board seriously. I had a receptionist in the mall occasionally, but a lot of it, as I progressed and learned those lessons, I was able to design my services to business, because I first started out just doing individual returns and just slowly took on more of a role where we did payroll. And one of the lessons learned, and I've been told I shouldn't admit this, but I bounced my first paycheck. Yes. But the reason was that I asked the national chain that I called, because I didn't do payroll at the time, how much is this going to cost? Well, come to find out years later, when they're trying to solicit me to use their software, they actually train the reps not to answer that question.
Oh.
I can't say that's all the chains, but, I thought back and I remembered I asked like 20 times, and the conversation always ended up somewhere else. And so I remember that, and when I designed my own payroll service, my own accounting service, I came up with flat fee accounting and flat fee payroll. That way, it's not a mystery. Mm-hmm. You know exactly, everything's pretty much included, and what's not is laid out. Basically, the time clocks. If you want a time clock feature, that's an extra charge I incur, so I have to pass that on. But doing the W-2s, the quarterlies, I don't charge fees every time you do that. And it's amazing. I take on clients, both bookkeeping, they're thinking, hey, I only was paying $10 a pay. Are you aware this wasn't taxes they were pulling out? Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the house was on right near Central Catholic, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you moved over. Now you're in a totally different place, but across the street.
Well, actually, there was a place in between.
In between.
Yes.
Okay.
So 2015, we moved literally into the parking lot next door.
Okay.
So we didn't even rent a U-Haul. We just pretty much put it on a dolly and we carried the fireplace. We carried the fireplace over, but so that was actually a good way station. We ended up expanding into some space back in a warehouse. And then, we made it work. But at a certain point, we had grown to a point that we had to either, we were kind of locked in there, and so we couldn't grow. And one of the fun parts is we've grown an average of 30% a year. Now, there's been a couple of shrink years, that's an average, but, that's pretty steep.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk more about your new location. You can tell everyone where you are, and also talk about, some of your new employees and all of the things that services that you offer at Fireside Tax. We'll continue with Tim Singo here coming up on 1480 WHBC.
News and what's going on in our community.
Giving the community, whether it's a mayor or a community leader or a nonprofit leader like me, the room to share good things that are happening. If you don't have that positivity in our community, it's not going to succeed. You have to understand how pivotal you are in making that happen in this community, and you have for so many years. So we are so blessed.
1480 WHBC.
I started Fireside Tax 20 years ago, and over time built a strong foundation helping people with their taxes. Fireside Tax helps businesses build their own strong foundations. We have grown to 9 accountants at our new location near Central Catholic on West Tusk. Give Fireside Tax a call at 330-478-1505 or on the web at firesidetax.com. That's firesidetax.com.
Hearing loss affects 48 million Americans, and we're seeing a 33% increase in younger people. If untreated, hearing loss can lead to higher healthcare costs, depression, and social isolation. Find out your hearing status by calling Ohio Audiology Associates. Let's catch any problem early so it doesn't progress. I'm Dr. Kelly Overcasher, and I invite you to visit us in North Canton or Hartville. We're the clinical professionals in audiology. We are Ohio Audiology Associates.
This is Larry Hackenberg from the Music Time Machine. Join me and my co-host Jennifer Tassan as we explore the rich history of music throughout the years. The Music Time Machine, Saturday mornings at 10 and Sunday mornings at 9:30 on News Talk 1480 WHBC. To catch up on past episodes, go to WHBC.com, hit the Listen tab, and climb aboard the Music Time Machine.
At Andrews Furniture in Sugar Creek, creating homes that celebrate family life is what we're all about. This month, we're pleased to announce one of our most popular sales of the year. All Smith Brothers upholstered and leather furniture has been reduced an additional 10%. Smith Brothers furniture is handcrafted in America, assuring you of quality construction and superb styling. Choose from Andrews stock for immediate delivery, or let Smith Brothers custom tailor an upholstered sofa, chair, or reclining sofa for you. For those who want heirloom quality furniture, Maven Amish-built furniture is constructed of 100% solid hardwood. Maven's craftsmen hand-select each hardwood, using their time-honored skills to create furniture that is both beautiful and long-lasting. Save an additional 10% during Andrews Midwinter Sale. There's always something new and exciting to discover at Andrews. And remember, delivery is always free. No wonder people from all over Ohio travel to Andrews, your home furnishings destination in Sugar Creek, for 77 years.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
1480 WHBC has always been there for you.
Thank you for being a voice of calm and correct information in a world of chaos and misinformation.
News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back on this Wednesday morning. Our Spotlight today, Fireside Tax with Tim Singo, the owner. And we've been talking about just how he got started in the business and all of the different things that he's achieved through the process. But I also wanted to talk to you a little bit. We were talking about Stark State off the air, but and you have grown exponentially over the years. And so yes. Stark State's been a big part of that, right?
Yes, it has actually. And you know, one of the hard things when you go from a business that's pretty much me, myself, and I to other people is replicating what about yourself, does that. So with me in forming the business, when I got saved as a senior in high school, that informs my business and how I treat people, both employees and clients. And that's part of the reason for our growth, because we really are looking out for the clients. There are times we're doing things that's not really good business sense, but it's just the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to employees, one of the things I've called myself an accidental accountant. And I kind of ended up with this tax business. And so I decided in 2012 to go back to school, and I went to Stark State because it was the cheapest, and I'm an accountant, and I pay attention to
money.
Money, yes. So I was surprised to find that cheap doesn't mean low quality. Blown away. I'm a fan of them. As a matter of fact, they have me on the advisory board for the accounting department. Maybe because I've hired a lot of Stark grads. So that is one of those things that they have a very good accounting department. And, again, you're looking, if you're looking for an accountant, you want that person that can do the math on their student loan bill.
Yeah.
I've heard tell that Stark State can probably run for 2 years without charging tuition, hence the low cost. And, management matters.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I'm a fan of, obviously, because we help a lot of businesses manage their money. And now when we're looking at Stark State, we have hired, and they've probably been our most successful. I mean, we've hired Malone grads. We've hired people from that one university up Market Street. But we've also, just pretty much everywhere. So that's been one of those things where we've been able to find a good supply of accountants. Yeah,
that's great. And so now you've grown, and I guess also you have local people who went to school here locally,
Yes.
and so they can have a connection with your clients as well.
Yes, that's one of those things where the community connections are key there, because we do advertise with Perry. We're planning on maybe expanding that to some of the other high schools, and myself, I went to McKinley. And when you talk about hiring people, I heard the grandson of one of my original clients, which was interesting. So I knew the family, and I guess I should have known this, but anyway, so I'm doing the deep dive, Google their name, and up pops a picture of him riding the Victory Bell in a Tiger uniform. And I clicked the X, and I'm like, okay, no. I can't do this. I can't do this. No.
See how deep it runs?
It runs deep. And it took me 2 or 3 days to realize if McKinley had played better, he wouldn't have been doing that. So,
That's right.
At the end of the day. But, you got to have good fun and good humor with that. And that's one of the other things. We do returns for people that are homeless all the way up to multimillionaires. And we treat them all the same because God looks at their heart and God looks at the individual. So, I mean, that carries through. And the other part to it, too, is, we serve people with a joyful heart, maybe a little bit off-color humor. But honestly, one of the remarks I get a lot from clients is, you walk through an H&R Block and it's somber. It's like being in a funeral home. You walk through our place, there's laughter, joking, banter. You get people in there, with belly laughs, and you're thinking, oh, he must get a big refund. No, actually, he owes $10,000, but he's having a good time doing it.
That's right. You made him feel good in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with perspective, because I always say, the biggest refund I ever handed somebody, they were livid. And the biggest bill I ever handed somebody, I had to tell them not to kiss me. So, I mean, it's all in your perspective. So, the one guy had to undo a deal that would have made him a lot of money, but a court judge ordered him to undo it because of a divorce situation. And so, very frustrating. But with the other one, it was a real estate deal, and the guy planned on spending over $1 million in tax on the deal, and I got it down to about $300,000. So yeah.
Yes, very thrilled.
So it's all in what you're expecting. It's all in what you're expecting.
All right, we are going to take our break for the news, and when we come back, we'll talk about the services that you offer. And I will tell you that Fireside Tax is located, I guess that would be Lincoln Way. Is it Lincoln Way or West Tusk?
It's Tuscarawas for the non-locals.
And in Perry Township. And this is, the phone number is 330-478-1505. If you want to go to their website, it is firesidetax.com. Very simple. And we will be back. We'll talk more coming up after this.
I started Fireside Tax 20 years ago, and over time built a strong foundation helping people with their taxes. Fireside Tax helps businesses build their own strong foundations. We have grown to 9 accountants at our new location near Central Catholic on West Tusk. Give Fireside Tax a call at 330-478-1505 or on the web at firesidetax.com. That's firesidetax.com.
Are you a chronic interrupter? Incapable of letting other people talk? Do those people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should go to Mattress Firm. They have a 120-night sleep trial so you can get your money back if a bed's not right. That way anyone, even someone like you, can sleep. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
For a new water softener system, call the experts at Verndale Water. We offer affordable prices to fit any budget, and no interest financing is available. Let our family give your family clean, clear, great-tasting water. From Verndale Water Experts.
Verndale's Water.
WHBC AM Canton, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, an Ohio woman accused of fatally stabbing a 3-year-old boy in a grocery store parking lot will go to trial on murder charges. 33-year-old Bianca Ellis was ruled competent to stand trial in the death of 3-year-old Julian Wood. She allegedly stole knives from a thrift store nearby before stabbing Julian and his mother, who was injured. Her trial is set to begin in July. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has rejected a $97.4 billion takeover bid led by Elon Musk, declaring, "We are not for sale." The bid disrupts OpenAI's attempt to convert into a for-profit company, a move that Musk has heavily criticized. The move comes as Altman appears at an AI summit in Paris, where he told world leaders that OpenAI has a mission of making AGI benefit all humanity. Despite Altman's rejection, OpenAI's board will have to consider Musk's offer. The Philadelphia Police Department has turned to the public for help in finding the Eagles fans who tore down traffic lights during the Super Bowl celebration Sunday. Although several traffic light poles were damaged during the festivities, 3 in particular were damaged beyond repair. Investigators are asking for those who know who did it to give them a call. Tonight on WHBC, the Cavs are at Toronto. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. Today, mainly cloudy, a coating to an inch of snow late in the afternoon, high 39. Periods of rain, otherwise cloudy, breezy. For tonight, low 33. Snow and rain at times to start tomorrow with little to no accumulation, otherwise cloudy, high 38. Thursday night, low 14. And partial sunshine, chilly on Friday with a high 30. I'm Andy Robb for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Call Crown Heating and Cooling today. With Crown, estimates are always free. Let them show you how much you can save when you trust the carrier experts at Crown. Call 330-499-4988 or visit them on the web at crowngroupohio.com. Ohio license number 27133. On Sunday, February 16th at 3 p.m., the Canton Symphony Orchestra presents their Masterworks concert, Sunday with Sibelius. The full symphony, along with CSO concertmaster Conrad Kowal, will perform a winter-themed program featuring the works of Alfreda Andre, Max Bruch, and Jean Sibelius. Tickets start at just $12 and can be purchased by calling 330-452-2094 or visiting cantonsymphony.org. Child and student tickets are available at no cost when ordered by phone. This message is made possible by Visit Canton.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
All right. right, here we are on this Wednesday morning. It is Spotlight, and we are having a great conversation with Tim Singo, who is the owner of Fireside Tax. If you've driven on Tusk, 4976 Tuscarora Street West, by the way, is the address. I know you've seen the sign with the fireplace, and it's very, I don't even know what word to say, but I passed it all the time, saw it all the time, and it gives a great inviting look when you go past your offices.
Yeah, that really was one of the better decisions I made, because that does give an aura of a strong foundation, a good home place to be, and that's kind of fits well with how I am personally. In a lot of ways, it's so neat to meet so many different people.
Yeah.
White, black, brown, Spanish speaking, which we actually have hired a guy this year who's a native Guatemalan. So that's been interesting, So it's, occasionally we'd get people that don't speak English, and now it's a little easier this year. Let me talk. I'm going to let you talk to Jacinto.
Mm-hmm.
So, but overall, that's one of the things that I get to do is be that. I'll take a step back. What does an accountant do?
Right. We
provide information for people to make decisions. And so that means I get to be that person in the room when decisions are made. And, with smaller businesses, nobody's paying attention, but we've watched some of them grow. But I'll tell you, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from my uncle, who ran his own machine shop. And we were talking about my business, and he said, you have to decide what you want your business to become and start acting like it.
Wow.
And you take that to heart. Recently we finally started offering health insurance, which shout out Sirac Financial. They made that possible. I mean, the numbers are the numbers, and previously we couldn't find anything that worked, and they did that for us. So, and we're also helping them connect with some of our clients to do that. But on one level, if I'm going to be an accounting firm that keeps people on long term, you have to start acting like it. That's what you do. So a lot of that guides what I do in my business, but it helps me to guide my clients. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of businesses make in their mindset is, I don't want to report any taxes. I don't want to pay any taxes. Truth is, I want to pay $1 million in tax. Now, I want to be smart about that. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to pass up deductions. But at the end of the day, show your profit, pay your tax, take your money home.
Yeah.
That's what successful businesses do. And when you're starting a business, one of the things I always say, when you're starting to act like it, you need an accountant, you need a lawyer, and you need a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
So with those three things, that's the strong foundation. And so, and I'll say this about the lawyers: the worst time to find a lawyer is when you need one.
This is true.
Get a relationship with a lawyer, find something to pay them to do, or even just go meet with them, and find them ahead of time. Because there are times in my own business, you have some moments where, oh God, that's not going to go good. So I call up Brian and hey, look, this is going on. What do you think I should do? And then the man will send me a bill, and I
have to do that.
I pay it.
Right. Good.
So but a lot of times, I've had some moments where it's like, oh God, what do I do? And I have that guy on speed dial, and he kind of talks me off the cliff sometimes, and but I have that set of advisor to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure it all works. So for people who are listening right now and they're thinking, I love this conversation. I really would like to, talk to this guy or somebody that is with him at Fireside Tax. How do they, what kind of services are you offering that people can take advantage of?
Yes. So from the name, obviously, we do taxes. So we do individual taxes everywhere from, just a W-2 on up to, Schedule Cs and S Corps and partnerships and the whole 9 yards. So, we also do payroll and accounting. We do the bookkeeping. With a lot of people, that's another thing. Spoiler alert, most of our clients that are doing our flat fee and flat fee accounting and payroll packages are paying about $4,000 to $6,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So roughly. We have some that have grown. Obviously, that takes a little more work. So those are a little more expensive. But a lot of them, they took it to heart what I was just saying. They started out small, but they had an eye towards something bigger, and they were doing, they were getting their books in order before.
Mm-hmm.
We do some cleanup on I-09. One of my favorite clients for years was doing everything wrong, and then he listened to one thing, and wow, that worked out pretty good. You got anything else? And then another, and it didn't all happen at once, but he should have failed, but at a certain point, he started to take some advice and was able to kind of work his way out of that, so.
Oh, that's great. And for small businesses, many small businesses in this area probably looking for someone, and the fact that they can use a local business to do that is even better.
Yes. And, we're growing to, I have a partner now. I have a 20% owner, which is, I have this fatal disease. It's called birth. It's 100% fatal.
Yes.
It could be 10 seconds. It can be 110 years, not 150, by the way. But anyway, it's one of those things where, I'm getting older, and so I want Fireside to continue on. So Brandon Myers is my partner, and he's 25 now. So that kind of helps that happen. So
yeah, helps him and helps you.
Yes, because I don't want to be. A lot of our growth occasionally, especially since COVID, it has been disturbingly common to hear my accountant died. And the profession is aging, but I'm trying to design Fireside so that when I step back, that it's going on. So you're not going to find a new accountant. It's just going to be another accountant in the office.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I would venture to say that there are people out there listening right now going, yes, that's me. That's what happened.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, and again, I will remind folks, 4976 West Tuscarora Street in Perry Township. And if you want to call, 330-478-1505. But like you say.
And don't forget the website.
Oh, the website.
FiresideTax.com.
That's right. Yes.
There are a lot of real cool financial calculators on there and everything.
It's a great website.
Even if you don't use us, feel free to log in. Click on that link for the tools. A lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, really is a lot of good stuff. And that's a good point. FiresideTax.com. And, I had mentioned to you off the air that it's always hard finding somebody that you trust to do your taxes. And when you walk into the, chain kind of places, you don't trust anybody in there.
Yeah, for the most part, when you get the chains, I'm not going to call out anyone in particular.
Right.
There's plenty of fine, competent people that work there, and there's no guarantee you're going to get one of them. So, we strive to really have that. One of the big things, though, believe it or not, one of the reasons that people trust me so much is that I'm not shy about if I mess up, I'll just say it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned my role isn't to sugarcoat things, and that includes my own role in it. So I train my people, and I harp on it that if you make a mistake, everybody's going to make them. What are you going to do about it, and do you try to hide it? Those are the questions. So if you just own up to it and say, hey, I screwed this up, and I entered this W-2 in wrong. Okay, so we need to amend the return. We need to talk to the client, which, by the way, that brings up one of the mistakes I made a couple of years ago. We have, I guess, a policy for audit protection. I'm going to pull a brain fart here. But anyway, audit protection, identity theft protection, and preparer error. So I did do that last year where I transposed some numbers on a W-2, and oh boy. So I was impressed because they just ponied up a $2,500 check like that,
There you
but
go.
I got that when I had a client get an audit, and I decided, okay, it's a bad idea to sign this form. And then come to find out, I went to a webinar, and one of the first things he said, this form, you need to sign it, and this is why. And I thought, oh, God, I'm not very good at audits. I just don't get my clients audited a whole lot. So this was my way to address that fact.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get an audit letter and it's beyond something, just send them a document or something like that. I'm going to send you off to them, and they have a whole stable full of people who, through no fault of their own, do audits all day.
And love it.
And love it, yes. God bless them. And I know people look at me like, how can you love doing taxes? But
I know.
You know, the funny thing about doing taxes is that I always ask people how they are at doing story problems, because that's really what it is.
Yeah,
you know,
so.
Dick and Jane have 3 kids, one of which is in college, and they make, $40,000 a year. Okay, now what does that mean on a tax form?
Mm-hmm. And you have some dependent to claim, all of those things. But that's the other part of it, is remembering, the rules. The IRS changes, rules quite frequently, and so that has to be hard too. But that's what you do, so it's not hard for you,
Yeah, and that's one of the early on, one of the things, especially for new accountants to get over it that you're going to know everything, because you never will. And I still remember it was odd going to Stark State, because I was required to take the tax classes. I probably could have taught them. But, I still learn things. That's the thing. For one thing, I still learn things. And that's not a knock on me. It's just an example. And the professor, Jonathan Mitchell, said, well, first off, third class, and he says, does anybody other than Tim know? Yeah, okay, that's my clue. That's my cue. Okay. So, but he did refer to me when one of it's an open book test, and one of the students said, wow, that's like, chintzy, and he just looked at me and he said, explain it. And I was like, tax is so broad that if you haven't done your studying, good luck looking the first question up. Because it'll take you the whole time to do it. So, you have a lot of learning, so you know what questions to ask, and you can find it quickly, but never be shy about the fact, hey, I need to look this up.
All right, we'll take our final break and come back. We're talking with Tim Singo, the owner of Fireside Tax on West Tusk. And again, don't forget, you can always visit the website, firesidetax.com.
I started Fireside Tax 20 years ago, and over time built a strong foundation helping people with their taxes. Fireside Tax helps businesses build their own strong foundations. We have grown to 9 accountants at our new location near Central Catholic on West Tusk. Give Fireside Tax a call at 330-478-1505 or on the web at firesidetax.com. That's firesidetax.com.
Saving money is awesome. Saving money on items you actually use? Fantastic. Hi, Paul White for the Half Off on Out by Store in Louisville. If you think you'll find the same low prices, huge variety, or great customer service at any other store, you'd be wrong. Stop into our store in Louisville and see what great deals we have. Follow us on our Facebook page at Half Off Store to see super specials. Why pay full price? Come in and experience the Half Off on Out by Store in Louisville, next to the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Roses are red, rosés are pink. Total Wine & More has your Valentine's drinks. A tasty champagne makes Valentine's shine. and so does a glass of sparkling wine. Need a great idea? We'll help you pick. But hurry, because Friday is coming up quick. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Looking to get doctor-prescribed medication like Ozempic or Wegovy? Zelty can help you get GLP-1 medications affordably, whether you have insurance and even if you don't. And 100% online. It's simple. Just text ACCEPT to 200-300 to get started. Zelty can help you get Ozempic, Wegovy, or Zepbound covered by your insurance company. So you pay as little as $0 for the medication if prescribed. No insurance? No problem. Zelty can ship semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and Zepbound, for as little as $151 a month versus $1,000 plus for name brand medications. Either way, it's high quality medical care, weight loss coaching, and access to game-changing medications. All 100% online with Zelty and affordable with or without insurance. So don't wait. Text ACCEPT to 200-300 to get started today on your weight loss journey with Zelty. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text ACCEPT to 200-300. That's ACCEPT to 200-300. Text ACCEPT to 200-300.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50.
You said bye-bye to big government. Now it's time to trim the fat from Big Wireless. Pure Talk gives you the exact same service. They use the same cell towers, the same 5G network. You get better customer service, and you pay half the price for the exact same thing. Get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot for just $35 a month. Make the switch. You simply dial pound 250, say the keyword, save now, save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
All right, this is our final segment on Spotlight on this Wednesday. One traffic note for you. Right now, an accident on 77 northbound at Schuylkill. 2 left lanes are blocked. 77 northbound at Schuylkill because of an accident. So you may want to avoid that area altogether. All right, we have been talking with Tim from Fireside Tax, and we've learned so much, and I think important things for people to consider Fireside Tax for all of the things that they offer, and the local business, a local person, and also affordable. I will say that too. We have to mention that for sure. So if somebody's out there and they're saying, I really would like to, contact them and give them some hints on what they should be bringing with them when they make their tax appointment.
Okay, well, first thing, the best thing to do, we are pretty busy, so the best thing to do is call in and make an appointment. We did have a surge in staffing this year due to our new location that, just better curb appeal and more professional. We love that place. But basically, we do take walk-ins, drop-offs. If we can't take you right then, we'll take it as a drop-off. We're actually running pretty quick lead times on that. We're usually a week back, but this year we're closer to a day or two. But as far as bringing things in, what I usually coach my clients to do is get yourself an envelope, a drawer, or a shoebox, And anything that says important tax information, just give it to us and let us sort it out.
Okay.
And then so a lot of times if you're during, and I say to do that through the year, even putting a note in there. Okay, I did this, which I know I should get a form. Just put a note in the shoebox or the envelope. And that's kind of the best method. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, the other thing, too, is when you talk about affordability, our average return is around $155. So if you look at the math on that with some of the national chains, they're probably somewhere around $400 or so. And it's kind of funny because when we do the geofencing, because we do, through WHBC, we do some targeted advertising, we sat down and really fleshed out where our clients hang out, the business owners, where they hang out, because I am one, so I know where they hang out. And but one of the things we did was we actually targeted the national chains with an ad that says half the price of the national chains. And I love this lady. She told us she was sitting in the office waiting to get her taxes done, got hit with that ad, realized she paid $400 last year, called us up, made an appointment, and came in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but when you're talking business owners, that's some of the stuff coaching, because I'm a business owner. I coach a lot of people. Hey, look, do this and take the time to really spend some time who you're targeting.
Yeah.
Where do they hang out? What are their habits? Where do they sleep? If I don't want to say you're hunting clients, but I mean that you are in a way. I mean, obviously you're not taking them out, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, but
looking for clients. Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes I have a phrasing issue, but yeah. So. But it's really still wonderful when we get those people in that we're able to. Often we get them in dire straits because they've done it themselves. They've been overwhelmed. Sometimes they haven't done taxes for years. And one of my favorite lines is I haven't filed for 2 years. Well, my record was the Reagan administration, so you're not even on the practice squad. If you think you're Hall of Fame material, you got a long way to go.
Well, we know that there are a lot of folks out there who are, thinking, visit them. And I'll tell you, I read the reviews on the website, and people say professional and respectful and friendly. So all of those things are very, very important. Fireside Tax, and you are on West Tusk.
Yes.
It is 4976 West Tusk. The phone number is 330-478-1505. And again, folks, you can go to the website, firesidetax.com. That's probably your best thing for you to do. And Tim, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story and information.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate it.
I started Fireside Tax 20 years ago, and over time built a strong foundation helping people with their taxes.